front of the largest crowd in over a decade, the Washington State Cougars went on a late game run and left the Gonzaga Bulldogs on the low end of an upset. No rest for the Bulldogs as tonight they must go head up with the 13th ranked UW Huskies. Coach Lorenzo Romar must teach his talented pups how to become road dogs. It's the dogfight. Next.
I feel like that one must stop this weekend.
Well, they're a perfect 7-0, but for the first time this season, the Washington Huskies have to depart through the doors of a bus to play a game. And they're walking into one of the most difficult places to play in the entire country. Welcome inside the McCarthy Athletic Center in Spokane, Washington. Number 18 Gonzaga hosting the 13th ranked Washington Huskies. Nice to see everyone again. Without a doubt, this is the biggest game in the Pacific Northwest this entire year. And Craig Elo, this rivalry continues to grow. And I don't know if you can hear the noise at home. It is already wild in here.
It is, Greg, and this is the last time these two teams will play because of future scheduling. And because of that, the students have been packed and camped outside in freezing weather. The reserve section got here at least 2 hours early, and they're working themselves into a frenzy for this last game between these two great teams.
Now, Washington is reloaded, but they are young. Gone are players like Brandon Roy, who was a lottery pick in the NBA draft. He's playing for Portland, but they're still very good.
Yes, the veteran dogs are gone, but the young pups are purebred pedigrees. 5 different players have led this team in scoring over the course of their 7 games. They're a well-balanced team.
And for Gonzaga, they're coming off a very difficult loss on Tuesday night down on the Palouse against Washington State. And it's been a very long time since they've lost 2 in a row.
You're exactly right, Greg. And they are. The Bulldogs are licking their wounds, and the Huskies are licking their chops because they want to stop this 44-game home winning streak. And you're again said it, 125 games since they've lost back-to-back. And remember, the Huskies have not won in this town, this building, since 1944.
That's right. A lot of streaks on the line here tonight. Washington, they've defeated 24 consecutive non-conference opponents. The last time they lost on this very floor in December of 2004. It's Washington and Gonzaga, the battle for the Northwest supremacy when we come back. Well, you don't have to tell the Gonzaga students that this is the game of the year in the Northwest. They've been camped out for days. They had to build a campfire to stay warm. It's been in the 20s at night in Spokane, snowy, rainy. We've had it all. Inside, another capacity crowd for the University of Washington and for Gonzaga. Take a look at the starting lineups. First for UW. The guards are Adrian Oliver and Justin Dentman. Forwards Quincy Pondexter and John Brockman. And the freshman Spencer Hawes. There's the head coach Lorenzo Romar in his 5th year at the University of Washington. Starting lineup for Gonzaga, a shakeup for the Zags. Rivio, Matt Bolden, the freshman, getting the start, along with David Pendergraft, Josh Heitfeld, and Derek Rivio. And Jeremy Pargo. We're underway.
Well, hold your horses, because it's going to be a good one tonight.
Here's the lob, and the flush to Heitfeld. 2-0 Gonzaga.
Wow, you want to get the crowds involved right away. The students up on their feet. Do a lob to Josh Heitfeld and have it work.
Here's Dentman, number 5, driving, missed the shot. Rebound Brockman, and he was fouled by Matt Bolden, number 15, inside.
Now, here it is. It's a well-executed play, and who better to make the pass than Jeremy Pargo? Throw it up there around the rim and let Josh Heitfeld go get it. Look, he had to hang around a little bit because Brockman was right there. And Greg, tonight, I totally believe the Bulldogs have had a little bit of problem rebounding the basketball. They're going to be challenged a great deal tonight. Brockman's a great defensive rebounder. They're going to have to keep this young team from getting second and third opportunities by controlling the board.
Brockman missed them both. Here's the feed to Bolden. He traveled. Turnover. We saw that shot a minute ago, Mark Few, and he's in his 8th season at Gonzaga with vying for his 197th career win here tonight. And he's going to have to beat a very game Washington Husky team if he's going to get it. Here's Pondexter. Here's the very talented Spencer Hawes. Turnaround. Heitfeld clears the rebound.
Good defense by Josh Heitfeld.
Making it over. Here's Oliver, stops at the free throw line, missed the jumper. Brockman, another rebound, put back, tipped away. Rivio's got it, far side for Gonzaga. Bolden on the wing. Here's Pargo, wide open three on the way. Good! Gonzaga leads 5-6.
Another good shot. Jeremy Pargo has time to set his feet, look where he's at, and let the ball fly right out of his hands for a 3-ball.
Hawes, the jumper from 19. In and out, back in. Spencer Hawes drops to win for UW. 5-2 to score.
Yeah, and if you had a scouting report on Spencer Hawes, most of the time you'd say he's a post that plays with his back to the basket, but very good soft shooting touch, so he can hit shots from the elbow or baseline.
Rivio from deep, no good. Pendergraft the rebound, lost it out of bounds. It'll stay with Gonzaga. What a start in Spokane. This place is loud, Craig Elo.
I'm telling you, it's warm in here. It's cold outside, and the fans are ready. It's been, what, 2 minutes of just exciting basketball already.
Fargo off with the three that time. Rebound, Adrian Oliver, number 2. The freshman out of Modesto, California. Here's Brockman inside, and Brockman converts. 5-4.
And Washington, every time they score, they don't want to just stay back and let you dribble up the floor. They're going to put some pressure on you.
Bolden, drive, shot was blocked. Cut back, Bolden. The freshman scores for Gonzaga.
He's got to be thrilled to have a starting nod in his first starting game as a college player against a team like UW.
Hawes again traveled. Heitfeld with the defense.
Josh Heitfeld against Spencer Hawes tonight has got to keep his feet. Don't go for the ball fake. Spencer's very good going left or right. So Josh is just going to have to stay down, square his shoulders, and keep his feet on the floor and just get a hand up in his face.
UW leads the all-time series 29-13. Gonzaga's won 7 of the last 8, but UW beat Gonzaga a year ago.
What a game that was.
A couple of guys ended up lottery picks in the NBA. Heitfeld, 4 points, 2 jams. Gonzaga leads by 5.
Excellent angle on the wing to feed the post. They were playing high side of him. Josh was able to hold Brockman off, and a great pass led him right to the rim.
Here's Oliver, Rivio on defense. Drives to the middle. Quincy Pondexter now. Ball knocked away, picked up by Brockman, and the sophomore calmly knocks it down for the Huskies.
Well, defensively, Gonzaga converged on Pondexter with 3 men, knocked the ball away, but rolled right to Brockman.
Bolden and Pondexter battling. Bolden got the middle, got it to Heitfeld, who pulls the trigger from 18.
Good patience on Josh Heitfeld. He saw that he was going to be able to shoot the jumper and took advantage of the defense being off of it.
Spencer Hawes. There you see the talent of the 7-footer. Out of Seattle, played at Seattle Prep. 7 feet, 250 pounds, and he's very skilled. Rivio 3-ball, good. Corner.
The drawing kick, that's perfect. Rivio's become an off guard since they moved Pargo to the point guard.
No foul. No whistle. Here's Brockman over Pendergraft, and Pendergraft picks up the personal foul. It'll put John Brockman at the free throw line.
Well, as a defender, you always try to come up with a sneaky way to get something done, getting a hand up in his face. Pendergraft uses the old snake bite technique. As Brockman turns to square and shoot the shot, his elbow's extended, and Pendergraft went right for the elbow like a snake would bite you. Got to be a little quicker, though, David, to keep the official from seeing that.
Brockman just a 50% free throw shooter. And he's 0 of 3 to start this game. Both teams have hit on their last 4 attempts from the floor. Gonzaga 6 of 9 shooting. Washington 4 of 8. Brockman fires the second free throw. He's 1 of 4. And it's a 5-point Gonzaga lead.
And when two teams are as equal as these two teams are, every point's going to count. You got to knock down your free throws. Both Zags and the UW dogs have to find the free throw line is going to be charity for them. They better make it.
Altidore Cespedes into the game for Gonzaga along with Sean Mallon. Cargo drives, dish out, Rivio, jumper, 3, ball good. 17-9 Gonzaga.
Excellent job by Derek to come and meet the basketball.
Detman tried to answer from 3, no good. Tipped out Altidore Cespedes, ball grab by Detman. UW basketball down by 8. Detman drives, left hand, foul, shot was blocked. And number 5, Justin Detman, will go to the free throw line, but we'll do that after this timeout. 15:26 to go, first half. Gonzaga leading it by 8. Derek Rivio, the senior for Gonzaga, 6 points, 2 of 3 from behind the arc. And welcome back to the McCarthy Athletic Center. Gonzaga with an 8-point lead. UW very young, but they've got great players on this squad, and then you got to throw that word potential around. Here's the head coach Lorenzo Romar talking about the big P word.
Potential always means you haven't done anything yet, so it's hard to get excited as if to say, hey, we have arrived, because we haven't. Each year is a different challenge. You're always trying to grow, and you just can't rest. You just can't sit still as the head coach. You've got to continue to work.
And Craig, as we watch Justin Detman at the free throw line, this team does have potentials. Oftentimes that can be something very difficult to be saddled with, but with 2 McDonald's All-Americans on the roster and a starting 5 that anybody in the country would want, you've got to look to this program as doing something great.
I totally agree with you, and the expectations put on all of these guys because of being McDonald's All-Americans and because of the accolades they bring into the program. Everybody's going to expect them to win. You can't just go out there and like Coach Romar said, and just have them walk through or go through the motions based on what they are and who they were. You got to come to play every night.
Hans Gasser into the game for the Huskies. Here's Cargo off the glass. So is Ryan Appleby, number 20. He's got the basketball right now for UW.
Watch Ryan Appleby. You got to pick him up everywhere on the floor because he's a great catch and shoot shooter. He stays behind the line mostly, and that's where most of his shots come from.
Appleby very good from 3 at 43.9%. And he knows how to hit him at key moments as well. Oliver, left hand, high off the glass. Adrian Oliver, the freshman out of Modesto, California. 6-point game. And Gonzaga wasting no time. Abdullah Kuso, the tip in. Off the Rivio miss. And the foul.
Derek Rivio thinking he's got a little bit of advantage on Ryan Appleby, who's not known for his defense, better known on his offensive end. Took the ball right to the basket, and he saw that he had a couple of rebounders in there and did the right thing, shoot the basketball, and it worked out great because Abdullah Kuso was right there to tip the ball in.
Kuso a chance for 3. And the 58.6% free throw shooter drops it through. That foul on John Brockman, his first. Appleby missed it, name and tip. Nelson with a rebound for UW. It's hard to believe that ball wasn't tipped. There's one tipped by Altidore Cespedes. Maybe Mancuso, I'm sorry. Detman fires for 3. That one's long. Outlet Rivio.
Both of those balls were blocked and contested.
Altidore Cespedes. Ball still loose, and Detman out of there with the Huskies. Somebody's got a whistle in this arena. I keep hearing it. Shot long, or short, I'm sorry. And there's a foul on Detman. Are you hearing that whistle in here, Craig?
I do.
I'm hearing several of them.
There are, you know, it's not allowed in any building, but the right behind us, it sounds like that when Mallon lost the ball the last time, it sounded like play had stopped. But there's the first shot.
Abdullah Kuso with a big block on Hans Gasser.
And before that, it was PMAC on Appleby, although the Dogs come up with the rebound and got him a couple opportunities more. Each time they did shoot the ball, it was either contested or blocked.
And there's a whistle. Foul will be called here on number 22, Hans Gasser, the senior out of Issaquah, Washington. Gasser playing right now after having a root canal done on Tuesday. And here's the best part of the story. The root canal was done on a tooth that was knocked out last year by his teammate John Brockman. So now he goes in for a root canal on Tuesday, and here he is on Saturday playing after having oral surgery this week. Tough kid.
Yeah, and actually that happened before their game with Southern Utah, and he was on the floor for him then with a big swollen, looked like he had a big chew or something in his mouth.
And here's another foul against the University of Washington. That's the 4th team foul. And they gave it to Adrian Oliver. That's his first. And Lorenzo Romar wants an explanation. Dick Cartmel. I guess I have not mentioned our referees tonight. Dick Cartmel, Mark Reisling, and Sam Haddad. Mallon off the inbound. Altidore Cespedes with the rebound. Kick out, Rivio, fake the shot, Appleby is there, foul called on number 20, Ryan Appleby. That's 5 fouls now on UW.
P-Mac got into early trouble, foul trouble down at Washington State. It kind of took him out of his game, lost his starting position for tonight's game, so he's going to be out there and be very active and aggressive. Made a smart move after he got the rebound. He was in there with the Land of Giants, threw it back out to the shooter there at Ravio. Gonzaga
9 of 16 shooting now at 56%. They've cooled off a bit. So has Washington, 5 of 14, 35.7%. The lead is at 9. Here's Rivio, the senior, against the junior Appleby. For Cespedes, Bolden, corner, take the 3, drive into the middle. Shot off the glass, good. Matt Bolden with 4 points.
Pure strength. The young man just took it right at the defense and went up with a great bank shot. All on the basis of his physical strength.
Lorenzo Romar told me today he thinks that Bolden is going to be a great player. Oliver missed the shot, rebound Cuso. Altidore Cespedes with a full head of steam. Shot was blocked that time by number 44, Phil Nelson.
Yeah, teams don't become ranked in the top 20 if they don't play some type of defense, and both teams do it.
Gasser, nice jump shot from the baseline.
And the penetration, that's one thing Coach Few just hates to see, is letting your the point guard or the guard bring it that far into the lane and then kick it out.
There's the feed, high-low to Cuso. Off the glass, no good. Tip back. I believe it was Altidore Cespedes flying in there.
P-Mac found an opening, was watching the shot the whole way. UW was watching the shot too and got caught napping on that rebound, and P-Mac had an easy tip in.
There's a foul called on Abdullah Cuso. That'll be number 1 on him, number 4 against Gonzaga. Matt Bolden, the freshman out of Denver, high off the glass. He's got 4 points early. On the other end, Hans Gasser won a game early in Spokane. Last season against the Zags, Justin Detman scored 17 points, 13 late after senior leader Brandon Roy was forced to the bench and then out of the game by fouls to help Washington overcome Adam Morrison's 43 points in the Huskies' 99-95 win over number 6 Gonzaga. And that game last year ended a streak in which Gonzaga had won 7 consecutive times against Washington. It was a huge win for the Huskies.
And just like GU has created a great atmosphere to play in here, Heck Ed's done the same thing.
Nelson, that 6'7", buries the 3-point shot, and it's an 8-point game.
He's coming off of a good game against Southern Utah where he knocked down a couple of 3-pointers off the bat. Before that, he was shooting pretty bad, but they got him up to 20%, so he's not known for 3-point shooting, but you got to guard it.
Nelson, a freshman out of Kaiser, Oregon. One of 5, or actually 4 freshmen now on this UW basketball team. Here's another freshman, Matt Bolden. 7 on the shot clock. Drive the middle. Altidore Cespedes. 10-point Gonzaga lead.
Awesome play by Gonzaga. Awesome play by P-Mac. Always get into the guy's vision that's driving. Dogs, the purple dogs, were all looking at the ball, didn't know where P-Mac was.
Pause from 18. Ball knocked away by Nelson, out of bounds. It'll stay with Gonzaga.
And there's a great drive by Matt Bolden. And remember, you mentioned that he's got a hurt hand. His offense hasn't been that good. Only 3 of 23 shooting the basketball in the last couple of games. But the rest of his game's very well. Rebounding and assists, just like you saw right there. He'll be one of the best passers to wear a Bulldogs uniform.
Elfidor Cespedes coming off the bench in this game for Mark Few. Here's David Pendergraft, three-point shot. The junior out of Brewster, Washington buries it from the wing. Gonzaga's biggest lead now at 13.
Again, another good job by Gonzaga of spacing the floor. Pendergraft spaced it very well.
Shot blocked by Heitfeld. There's Jeremy Pargo. Young man out of Chicago, Illinois, finds the lane, throws up a wild shot, tipped back, no good, out of bounds. Back to Heitfeld, somehow he saved it and converts. 15-point Gonzaga lead.
Oh, Justin Ditman caused all of that to happen because he saved the ball underneath his basket that he's supposed to protect. Never throw the ball back in because the result is what you just saw. The offense getting 2 points.
And a very easy two for Josh Heitfeld, who has 8 points. Burmeister, he missed everything. Lorenzo Romar knew coming to Gonzaga, coming to Spokane to play a team that's won 44 consecutive games at home was going to be a tough duty for his program because they're so young. But they're 7-0, and expectations are very, very big in Seattle for this team.
And they should be. They're very talented, and Romar's done a great job coaching over there in the last 5 years. But he's got his hands full because the young men that are out there will make mistakes, but they're very talented, and they'll make up for their mistakes. That's why they're 7-0.
And Gonzaga on a 14-5 run as Bolden drives, missed the lay-in. Brockman had it, Pendergraft into the corner, saved it to Bolden. New shot clock, and Jeremy Pargo with the carry. Says Dick Cartmel, turnover.
That is going to be a point of emphasis this year for the officials to try to call that as much as they can. Kids are so quick with the basketball today that it's hard to even see that move. But if you notice if a guy gets by him, he probably did use that palming the basketball.
Pause. High-low. Brockman, nice catch. And the conversion. John Brockman for the Huskies.
Both teams, UW and GU, will use that high-low pass, and it's a great pass when you got your center out there who's 7 foot looking down to make that pass over the defense.
Brockman now with 7 to lead Washington. Skip past Bolden. Almost left the floor. Here's Rivio for 3. I didn't think that had a chance. But somehow it squirted through on that left edge.
It kind of looked like yours and I's drives off of the tee box. A little slice going on. But Derek Rivio had Brockman running at him and shot the ball where it just didn't look like it had the angle to go in, but it did.
Spencer Hawes with a travel.
Josh Heitfeld is doing a great job keeping his body between Spencer Hawes and the basket. That's a simple principle in all defense. Stay between your man and the basket. Don't leave your feet. Heitfeld's matched him, and it's caused Spencer Hawes to take a couple of bad shots.
4 turnovers now by Washington. Pargo, left hand, missed it, in and out. Knocked out of bounds. It goes to the University of Washington. John Brockman, the former McDonald's All-American, the sophomore for Lorenzo Romar. Going to work inside. He's got 7 points, but his team is down by 16. We'll be back in Spokane.
FSN, home of the Gonzaga Bulldogs.
And welcome back. And how good has Derek Rivio been this season for Gonzaga? We'll put a graphic up now. You know, guard U here at GU with Blake Stepp, Dan Dickow, Richie Fromm, Matt Santangelo. You look at those numbers. Dan Dickow's 21 points per game is the only number on that board that is higher than the numbers of Derek Ravio so far his senior year. Ravio averaging 19.9 a game, shooting 46% from three and 93.6% from the free throw line. How good has Derek Ravio been?
Oh, Derek's been awesome for the Zags, and in his first 101 games, he only attempted 4.1 3-point shots a game. In his last 2 games, he's up to 12.5, so that's saying he's got the green light because he's a senior, and he's improved every year.
Brockman with his 3rd rebound off the Ravio miss. And now Brockman on the offensive end, stolen away by Ravio. And a lay-in. I didn't think he had a chance to get by Burmeister, but he did.
What a spark plug Derek Ravio has been for the Zags. He's just doing it all. He's zigged and zagged his way down the court with a defender on him. But that's his point guard skills. Here's the steal. Brockman does never see Ravio, and he just takes it away from him like stealing candy from a baby, and then goes all the way home for a layup. And I bet you if Derek had hops, he would have tried to dunk that one too.
Derek becoming the 29th player in Gonzaga history to eclipse that 1,000-point mark in his career. He is now searching for number 26. Has a chance to do that tonight. And that's Quincy Pondexter from the corner.
I tell you, the Zags did a nice job in this first 14 minutes of the game. Washington in their previous games have always started off slow in their games. Zags knew that they could jump on them right at the beginning and build a big lead. No one thought it would be 18 points at this point.
Pondexter's shot into the 12-2 Gonzaga run. Here's the miss cleared by Hawes. Detman far side for UW. Drive, finger roll. Somehow he saved it and got it to Brockman. Great play by Justin Detman. Pargo right back to Heitfeld. Boy, Gonzaga is getting back quickly. What a job.
Man, Washington Huskies are down watching the paint dry on one end while the Zags are scoring on the other.
Pause. Missed again. Rebound Pargo. Weaving his way by Oliver. And a foul on Adrian Oliver.
Holy cow.
Pargo had me confused. I can't imagine what Adrian Oliver was thinking.
I totally agree with you. Watch this. Behind the back at midcourt, numbers aren't good. There's 1 against 3, but he saw a little bit of space in there, and he took the young freshman to the hole and drew the foul on him.
Jeremy Pargo, sophomore out of Chicago, played at Robeson High School, averaging 10 points a game this season, 3 rebounds, almost 4 assists.
And you know, Derek Ravio has obviously stolen the accolades away from everybody. He's the player of the month in the WCC. He's been a player of the week a couple of times in a row, but Jeremy Pargo, you look at his numbers to last year too, has increased his, and the biggest one is on the scoring end, up to 10.8 points per game to go along with Ravio averaging 19 and Heitfeld 17. That gives him some potent offense.
And Mark Few will tell you his greatest asset is leadership. And you always want that at the point guard position. We have a foul inside away from the ball. And this, I believe, is on Abdullah Kuso, number 31 for Gonzaga. That's his 2nd personal foul. And that's 5 against GU. Actually, they gave it to Pierre-Marie Altidore Cespedes.
I think what happened there was, Greg, he got caught on a bigger guy, Pondexter, and could not hold his ground and had to just wrap himself around it.
Oliver, bounce pass. Pondexter drives, baseline jumper, good. That was smooth.
And it looked a little discombobulated. The Washington Huskies didn't look like they were in much of a set, but the ball got swung over, and the defense couldn't recover.
There's Brockman denying the pass to the post. But Gonzaga took it right back. Bounce pass Pargo. Missed the lay-in, tip back Kuso, in and out. Oliver with the rebound for Washington.
Detman and Brockman were going for the ball there. Brockman didn't know it was Detman on him and dove for the ball and threw it right to his ass.
Offensive foul called on Spencer Hawes. His first. I think they got him for the hook.
I got to say, he's got to be a little bit frustrated. He's only got 4 points, and every time he's gotten the ball, there's been a horde of Bulldogs around him, and oh, what a good move. But Kuso gets right in there with his body, and the hook was called. You're exactly right.
5:04 to go first half. 14-point game. This game's far from over with the firepower that is on the floor that lives in Seattle and playing for Lorenzo Romar. Here's Rivio. Derek Rivio with 14 points. He's now number 26 in scoring at Gonzaga.
Very tough play to guard. You got Derek Rivio swinging the basketball and then coming off of a flare screen.
And the block by Abdullah Kuso.
And you want to know why GU's got such good defense? They can pressure around the perimeter because they've always had a guy that has their back in there and will protect the basket. Kuso doing it tonight.
Oliver inside the three, buries the big jumper. 15-point game.
Coaches love it when you score on out-of-bounds plays. When you have the ball underneath, I love it when teams are aggressive and looking to score the basketball. The Washington Huskies executed an out-of-bounds play to perfection.
Well, they're going to have to really tighten the screws down on Derek Rivio. He's had a huge first half for Gonzaga. 14 points, 5 of 9 shooting, 4 of 5 from behind that arc. He had a career high against Texas with 7 3-pointers in that game. Largo with 2 on the clock to Kuso. Foul called. And I believe they got Justin Detman here.
All the years that I've watched Gonzaga basketball, it's always impressed me the way they handle the shot clock coming down. Teams from 4 years ago up to this team now, they don't panic when they need a shot.
Well, Gonzaga averaging 80 points a game this season. They're not quite as good offensively as they've been in years past, but defensively, I think they're much better, Greg. And this is one of the reasons why.
Yeah, and this is one possession. You saw Ryan Appleby try to shoot from the three-point line, had his shot blocked, and then they got the rebound. That's the Huskies got the rebound. Gasser tried it, got his shot blocked. And the thing that a coach just wants you to do on the defensive end is when you see somebody pulling up for the shot, at least contest it. And Gonzaga, they're contesting everything along the perimeter because they know that they got a big man back there, be it Heitfeld or Kuso, that's going to protect the paint when they do get beaten. And they've come up with some blocks. 3 block shots for the GU Bulldogs right now, where they've only averaged 3 a game. So they're well onto their mark and going to get a few more.
And only 3 teams this season have shot over 40% from the floor against Gonzaga. There's another block. Rivio with the run out. Pondexter chasing, and he scored and counted. And the foul.
Did you see what I just saw?
With the left hand, huh?
He changed hands in mid-air. Again, the blocks caused this to go Gonzaga's way. Derek hustles after the basketball. He doesn't know Pondexter is coming from behind him, but at the last minute, changes his hands and knocks down a left-hand shot and goes to the free throw line for a 3-point play, which you know he's going to knock down the free throw.
And Rivio has now hit 27 consecutive free throws. Brockman from 18. John Brockman answers for UW. He's got 11 points.
Well, you said it earlier, you can't let your guard down. If you're Gonzaga, you're going to keep pressure and make the Huskies fight as long as they can. Gonzaga's building himself up a nice lead, 18 points again.
Nearing the 3-minute mark, Golden drives the baseline and scores 2 more. 6 for Gonzaga. 20-point lead. I don't think anybody saw a game like this coming. Here's Nelson from the corner, in and out. Off of Kuso.
I got to think, Greg, that even though the Huskies are 7-0, their schedule's been not soft, but it has some soft teams in there, and playing at home, they never had to be on the road right now, and this is a hostile environment in here, and Lorenzo Romar said, for the first road game for this young team of mine, I'm throwing them in the fire right off the bat.
Yeah, the thing he told me today is that the only thing I'm sure of is that my team is going to play hard. That's the only thing I'm sure of. They're young. He's got 4 freshmen. They will all play in this game. He's not sure how they would react in an environment like this. Pondexter for 3. Oh, big shot in the face of Eltador Cespedes.
Yeah, and that's the one thing Coach Romar will probably want to have his players do. They know what the score is. They're going to look up on the scoreboard, but don't quit playing because they are talented. We'll have to see how they respond to a big deficit.
Altidore Cespedes trying to answer at the other end. Bolden with a rebound and the reverse putback.
Boy, a lot of things going right for the Bulldogs right now.
Here's Appleby. Boy, the Huskies need him to get going. That guy can really shoot it from three.
You talk about a lot of firepower. That young man has it. He can pull from anywhere beyond the arc.
There's Sean Mellon. Feed inside. Bolden back door. And now Appleby. The Zags get up on him. Here's Pondexter for three. That hit the top of the backboard. And now we've got a foul call on Adrian Oliver, and that's number 3 on the freshman who started this game for Lorenzo Romar.
Gonzaga, once they build themselves a lead on the offensive end, Greg, they'll be very patient, and they usually go to their continuity offense called the flex. The flex has so many counters in it. If you try to play the play, you jump up on one side, it'll cost you. The last time down, Matt Bolden came up with a super counter where he saw his man jump to the high side, and he went back door. And is there a better team passing the basketball than the Zags? I don't think so. I've seen too many times where they get every counter and work it to perfection. And the last time, Matt Bolden going back door comes up with a basket.
Gonzaga into the double bonus. That's why Heitfeld will shoot 2. Matt Bolden came into this game shooting 3 of 23. He's made 3 shots out of his last 23 over the last 4 games. He's 5 of 7 in this game.
But that has not dictated the way he's played the game. He's an all-around player. He'll get stuff on the rebounding, assist-wise, defense. He'll stick his nose in there and take charges, deflections. He's a great help and recover type of a defender. So he does not let points dictate the way he plays the game.
There's the feed. Pause. Ball knocked away. Foul called. Either Pendergraft or Kuso.
But you got to like what you saw. The ball goes into Spencer Hawes, a 7-footer known that he can go either way. The Zags had 2 defenders come to help on the baseline side and in the middle. The one thing you got to do is, I would try to, if he's coming back to the middle and going to use that left hand, I almost would say go ahead and try it. He's a very good left-handed jump hook shooter. But don't bail him out by slapping down at the basketball. The officials pretty much call that every time, don't you think?
Yeah. Heitfeld checks back in with 11 points. He's 5 of 5 from the floor. That foul was called on Pendergraft, his second. That's 6 now against GU. Spencer Hawes at the line. And his game is just, it's impressive to watch him. It really is. Out of Seattle, played at Seattle Prep. And now Derek Ribio with 17 first-half points. Bolden driving, dishing to Pargo. Nearing the 1-minute mark. Heitfeld, keeper on the line. That's a 2. No good. Brockman with a rebound. To Nelson. Nelson will use a few dribbles and then get it to Appleby. The junior drives, bounce pass. Hawes, left hand off the glass. There's some impressive ability right there. Left hand. He's 7 feet tall, 250 pounds, and he made that look so easy. Timeout. Gonzaga. Well, GU turned the ball over 5 times thus far. Washington 7 turnovers, but Gonzaga 2 out of the last 3 games have turned the ball over 17 times. So I'm sure Mark Few is feeling better about that tonight. Washington shooting 43%. And really have not played bad basketball. It's just Gonzaga shooting 55%. 22 of 40 from the floor. 6 of 11 from behind the line. And they have a rebound edge right now, 22 to 18. And Gonzaga is also controlling the inside. They've got 28 points in the paint. Washington with 12, which is hard to imagine when you figure you've got John Brockman and Spencer Hawes, 2 McDonald's All-Americans, playing inside for UW. But Heitfeld's had a big first half with 11 points, Matt Bolden with 10, and a lot of Bolden's points have come from the inside. And so Gonzaga with the basketball. There's about an 8-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock. So Washington will get another possession. This crowd still very much into this game. That will be on Raivio. Raivio drive to the middle to Mallon, the run, and he traveled. Way too many steps by Sean Mallon, who was going for the jam. 13.1 seconds to play, and Lorenzo Romar and his Washington Huskies will have a chance to cut into a 15-point lead. Appleby with it. He's deadly from 3. A drive. Shot blocked by Raivio. Shot away. That was blocked again. Here's Hawes with it. Left hand off the glass for UW. And that'll do it for the first half. And that's a big basket for Washington, who goes to the locker room with a little momentum. 2 blocks by Gonzaga, but Spencer Hawes able to stay with it and convert with the left hand, and Washington ends that first half on a 6-0 run, and they trail Gonzaga by 13. Here's Craig Elo.
Coach Tommy Lloyd here. Oh, Nelly, slow down. What a great first half by the Zags. You jumped on them early. What caused that?
Well, we're 2 programs that really like to play up-tempo, and we know if it's an up-tempo game, we really trust our guards to get it up and down and make good decisions, and they did that for the most part. I'm just a little disappointed we let them go on a little bit of a run there at the end of the half.
I tell you, the block shots have been a key for y'all on defense. Everybody getting out and contest. Y'all work on that every day, right?
Well, we've really been stressing that with our guys. We need to do a better job contesting shots. We didn't feel like we did a good job of that at the end of the Washington State game, so that's something we really stressed in practice this week.
Yeah, WSU definitely blocked some of your shots, but you turned the tables tonight. Good job in the first half. Look for something good in the second half. Back to you, Greg.
Thank you, Craig, and certainly plenty of fireworks from Spokane tonight. It's a 13-point game, and boy, I just cannot wait to see what the second half has in store for us. Gonzaga and Derek Raivio, big first half from Heitfeld and Brockman carrying the weight for Washington. We'll be right back with halftime. Well, an explosive first half for Gonzaga, but it's Washington who ends that first half on a 6-0 run to make it a 13-point ball game. And Craig, it's lived up to its billing so far. I know there's probably a lot of Husky fans that are like, well, but this second half is going to be nuts.
It is, and every coach will tell you that coming out of halftime, the first 3 minutes usually dictates the game. Washington has the momentum with that 6-0 run going into halftime. They got to think that they're back into this ball game because the lead's been very big on them. Big deficit. Now it's down to 13, so the first 3 minutes is going to be crucial for Washington and GU.
Yeah, a lot of firepower on this floor, but it's Gonzaga's defense that's really setting the pace. They've got 5 blocks in that first half.
Yeah, and it's something that just has come with contesting all the shots. Everybody's being very active. They're on the perimeter blocking shots, and then when the Dogs do get it down low, they're coming up with some block shots from the help coming down and not knowing where it was, but Derek Raivio was super for the Bulldogs in the first half.
And John Brockman doing a great job for UW, 13 points. He made his last 6 shots, but they're shooting the ball fairly well from behind the arc. They're 4 of 11, and they're going to need that 3-point ability in the second half.
It is, and that'll bring you back into the game quicker than anything. That extra point from behind the line, if you got a huge deficit to overcome, is a weapon that you try to use, but it can also shoot you in the foot if you're not making them. And the Huskies, they have some guys that'll make them, so look for them to shoot some 3-pointers.
And Gonzaga just flat out shooting it well at 55%. The University of Washington at 43%. More halftime in a minute. And welcome back to the McCarthy Athletic Center in Spokane, Washington. It's the battle for the Northwest, and Gonzaga with a 13-point lead here at halftime. A lot of fireworks in that first half. Gonzaga has two seniors on this team, Sean Mallon and Derek Rivio. And right now, Rivio, into the first 10.5 games, is off to the best start maybe in GU history for a senior. He's really shooting it well.
Well, Greg, we've been told that Derek Rivio is an excellent cook. We haven't had a chance to eat his food yet, but he's cooking himself up a good game tonight. 4 of 5 from three-pointers for 17 points.
And then on the other side, UW has had to look at John Brockman, now a sophomore. Gonzaga wanted this kid very badly. He goes to Washington, and he's the real deal.
Oh, he would look great in a GU basketball uniform. You're exactly right. There's a lot of ties that kept him at the University of Washington, but he is a stabilizing force which UW needs. They had a big deficit all the first half. They got a little bunches running up and down. Someone had to stabilize them, and it was Brockman hitting his last 5 shots.
Okay, you're Lorenzo Romar right now in the locker room. Your team is down by 13, but you scored the final 6 points. You know what this crowd is like. What are you telling the kids?
You tell them to keep their nose in there. You knocked down a lead that was big as 20 points to 13 at half. If we come out and play hard-nosed defense, get some stops to go along with the offense that we had at the end of the game or in the first half, you're going to give yourself a chance to get back in this game.
And honestly, it's been Gonzaga who's had a very tough time this year, putting 2 halves together and playing well for 40 minutes. We'll find out when we come back in Spokane. And welcome back to Spokane. Gonzaga with a 13-point lead at 56-43 over the University of Washington. We're going to take a look now at those statistics for the first half. And there you see the shooting percentages. Rebounds very close. Turnovers very close. Points off turnovers. That's where Gonzaga is excelling right now. And, of course, those blocked shots.
Yeah, the blocked shots have been huge for Gonzaga, not allowing the Washington Huskies to get anything going. But the 55% field goal percentage, that is awesome. Any coach would just love that. Can they maintain it? You don't know. They're going to take a lot of shots outside. It might hurt that percentage, but Gonzaga does a really good job when they're ahead to run good offense and get good shots.
And Gonzaga, frankly, is at 55% because they've had a lot of lay-ins. We'll come right back with the second half. And welcome back to Spokane. These fans certainly know when to turn up the volume in here. It was quiet until about 10 seconds ago. And then it just starts building and building and building. We take a look at the leading scores. First for UW, John Brockman leading the way with 13.
And you look at Quincy Pondexter with 8 and Spencer Hawes with 8. Quincy on the season's averaging 16, so he's well under his average right now. Spencer Hawes is averaging 12. And if you want to think Washington is out of this game, think otherwise, because they are a 49% shooting team from the field, 36% from three-point line. Not a good free throw shooting team, right at 70, and they average 88 points, so they got some firepower.
Yeah, I think both these coaches are going to learn a lot about their basketball teams here in the next 20 minutes. Can UW build on a 6-0 run ending the first half and get back into this game? And can Mark Few and his Gonzaga Bulldogs close out a highly ranked University of Washington team? We're going to find out a lot here over these next 20 minutes. We're live at the McCarthy Athletic Center in Spokane, Washington. I'm Greg Heister, along with Craig Elo. We are courtside, and so are you. Here's John Brockman. Detman fires the 3. That's off. Brockman was held, no call. Bolden, Cargo, back to Bolden, lay-in.
2-on-1 textbook by Cargo and Bolden. Both guys throwing the ball, never touching the floor.
Oliver for 3, no good. Rebound, Heitfeld. So UW shooting from 3 to start the second half.
I tell you, if Washington wants to take those kind of shots, they had a great opportunity with the possession at halftime to come up and get the ball inside to either Hawes or Brockman. Didn't have it happen, and they taken 2 3-pointers and given up a layup.
Pargo right by Hawes, who affected that shot and grabbed the rebound. There's Detman. UW driving. Shot off the glass, no good. Oliver with a rebound. Pendergraft Pesky. Shot back up and true.
David Pendergraft, he's got a 2-on-1 coming down. He's the only defender for the Zags. He makes Detman take a tough shot and then almost comes up with the rebound. The other Zags, they got hustled back quicker than they did on that possession.
Hawes is into double figures with scoring with 10 points, but he's 4 of 10. Here's the feed. Pendergraft missed the lay-in. Rebound Brockman.
Well, you don't get too many opportunities like that. David Pendergraft has to capitalize on a great pass from Pargo.
And Quincy Pondexter traveled. Freshman out of Fresno. His father was Roscoe. His uncle was Cliff. Both played for Lute Olson at Long Beach State. His uncle Cliff played 3 seasons with the Chicago Bulls.
And what a great name, Pondexter. You know, that would be at the next level. Someone in the NBA would love having that, or the announcer, the guy that runs the house, the announcing, would have a great time with that name.
He certainly has an NBA body at 6'6", can really fly and can shoot it. He may have an opportunity. Here's Bolden. Ball was stripped, no foul. Detman with it in a crowd. Hawes will shoot it from 17, no good long. Heitfeld lost the handle. Brockman on the floor. Pargo grabbed it. Got it to Heitfeld. Gonzaga with the numbers. Here's Rivio in the middle of the floor. Lob. And great job by Detman. He's going to pick up the personal foul. Not sure I agree with that call because both players are going for the ball, and it was actually Heitfeld who was behind Detman. They give the personal to Detman.
Yeah, I think this play could have evolved a lot better if Josh Heitfeld would have given the ball up a little sooner. There was a lot of scrambling on the other end, and the ball came into the Heitfeld's hands. If he gives that ball up a little bit quicker to Derek Ravio, then Detman has to make a decision. Do I stop Derek Ravio? But the Zags both kind of played into his, they gave him an excellent chance to stop the play. And you knew, I know Detman knew that with Heitfeld running and Ravio having the ball, where was it going to go? It was going to be a lot.
And also somewhat questionable, they said that Heitfeld was in the act of shooting. If he's able to catch that pass, does he come down with it and then back up? Or does he catch the ball and shoot in the same rhythm?
Tough call.
It is tough.
Actually, I don't think Josh would have had I don't think he had a great opportunity to actually flush the ball because it was so far away from the basket, so he probably would have came down with that ball and gone up strong.
Pondexter works his way to the free throw line. Foul called on Pendergraft. That's number 3. And so he'll be coming out of the game for Mark Few with Mallon checking in here in a moment. Pondexter with 8 points. His first free throw of the game is good.
Well, I mentioned coaches will always say, you know, the 3 or 4 minutes in the second half are very crucial about kind of dictating momentum or tempo of the game. And right now it's just 4-3 in favor of Gonzaga. So nothing really happening in this first 3 or 4 minutes of this second half.
Rivio. That shot's off. Rebound Oliver. And the freshman pushing it hard for the Huskies. Found the lane, threw it up. Foul called on Sean Mallon. Somewhat delayed whistle. The crowd doesn't like it. And that is the second personal against Gonzaga. And Mallon picks up his first personal.
And Gonzaga on the defensive end always does a great job of not finding a man. And you don't have to guard the same man every time down the floor. You just call out, I got him, I got him. No one picked up Oliver, who Ravio was guarding, and he was the shooter on the other end. Didn't pick him up. Usually you call out and say, I got him, I got him. And no one did that for Gonzaga, and it let Oliver get deep into the paint and challenge Heitfeld.
And Oliver just a 25% free throw shooter, 3 of 12 coming into the game. If you're going to be a guard on a major Division I basketball program, that number's got to come up. If you're a good guard, right, you can shoot the ball.
Oh,
your free throw's got to be better.
It's got to be better. So I got to say right now, being a freshman, it's probably a mental block on his part, getting up there and not feeling real comfortable shooting at that place.
Skip to Rivio. Appleby there with the defense. Here's Heitfeld. Hawes stood him up. Now Bolden will try it for Gonzaga. Got her on Pondexter. Got caught. Double team came. Mallon picked up the loose ball. Foul called either on Hawes or Brockman. It'll be Brockman, his second personal foul. That's 3 against UW this half.
Zags getting a little lucky. Matt Bolden going on the baseline, drawing 2 defenders. Sean Mallon wasn't it. He was on the block, but he's got to create a little bit more space for Matt so he can get through there. He did get the ball to Sean, and Sean made an aggressive move with a drop step to the basket.
Mallon hits the free throw. Sean in his senior campaign for Mark Drew out of Spokane's Ferris High School. Coming off the bench tonight. And he hits both free throws. 15-point game.
And you might say Sean Mallon, being a senior, has earned his due to start every game, but he's a good role player for this team, has been for a long time, and he accepts the fact that he didn't start tonight.
Boy, Brockman just has a great-looking jump shot. Really elevates and gets the ball high in the air. Connects again.
Well, he's got the physical size to actually post himself up and use that big body to try to get some post moves, but you're right, he's got good form on his shot and will square himself to the basket, so he looks good shooting it.
Altidore Cespedes waited for the defense to come, then shot it. And UW with a chance to cut into a 13-point lead, but that's an offensive foul on Pondexter.
I don't know where Quincy was thinking about going. There was a lot of white jerseys in there. He should have pulled up instead of going all the way and getting a charge called on him.
15:51 to play, 13-point game.
With the 3rd pick in the 2006 NBA draft, the Charlotte Bobcats select Adam Morrison from Gonzaga University. With the 6th pick in the 2006 NBA draft, the Minnesota Timberwolves select Brandon Roy from the University of Washington.
What a special year as we watch the lob to Heitfeld, who can't finish. Brockman the rebound, but what a special year in the Northwest, in the state of Washington. 2 of the best players in the entire country were right here as Hawes converts on the offensive end for UW. Brandon Roy and Adam Morrison. If you're a Gonzaga fan or a Washington fan a year ago, really over the last 3 or 4 years, you were treated to something special.
Boy, and those teams that had to choose between those 2 guys, Adam Morrison and Brandon Roy, they had a tough time because Roy really came on and became Pac-10 Player of the Year, showed his skills. And so both teams, Charlotte and Portland, really had to make some decisions on who they wanted to take.
And Spencer Hawes just picked up his 2nd personal foul.
And I got to think,
beat him to the rebound, and then Hawes fouled him.
Yeah, Sean just kind of was watching the flight of the ball and didn't even jump to get the rebound, and Spencer's back was turned, and once Sean secured the ball, he was ready to go back up with it. Spencer Hawes was out of defensive position.
And that field goal by Sean Mallon ended a 4-minute and 26-second Gonzaga drought. But it's still a 14-point game. Nelson jumper short. Rivio had it. Has it again. Here's Cargo. With Appleby back. Spins off the glass. Mallon tried to put it back through, but there was a whistle. And I'm telling you, there are extra whistles in this building tonight.
Yeah,
it's very disconcerting.
It is, and if it's someone with an actual whistle, then you can't have that in a building like this. But if someone's got their fingers in their mouth and blowing that, it sounds just like an official's whistle.
That's what I'm wondering if somebody did sneak a whistle in, Craig, because it sure sounds like a whistle. Yeah. We heard it a lot in the opening minutes of the first half.
Yeah, for you and I, we have to turn our heads all the time to make sure the play's still going on. Fortunately for the players, they haven't recognized and seen or heard that whistle. And you know, going back to Adam Morrison and Brandon Roy, both teams or all the teams that were trying to choose which one to pick. Remember the Peyton Manning, Brian Leaf?
Yeah.
Everybody was wanting to know.
Boy, that turned out to be a no-brainer.
That was a no-brainer, exactly.
Boy, not with Morrison and Roy, though. Those two guys are the real deal.
You're going to get something from both of them.
Nelson. Brockman with a great offensive board, but lost the handle, and Pondexter's there to clean it up for UW.
Second chance points are coming big for the Huskies. They're trying to knock down that deficit. It's still at 14, but on every possession, if you're getting second and third opportunities, that's one way of getting yourself back into the ball game.
Altidore Cespedes, Pargo, kick out, Rivio. And the defense comes quickly. Nelson's got to watch Mallon. He'll shoot it from there. Altidore Cespedes, three-point shot, short, tip back. Cuso, he beat Brockman that time. Slid right inside of him.
Very elusive. Watched the flight of the ball and then timed it perfectly to get himself in position to tip that in. He's got a great knack for kind of finding the open spot too, and he uses that big body of his to hit the tips.
Appleby for three. Foul call on Brockman, I believe, who may have taken a shot to the chin. He's a tough kid, John Brockman. Toughness is his game. You can just look at the guy and say, if you saw him walking down the street, you'd say, no, that's a tough guy. That's a guy you don't want to mess with.
Kind of a James Dean look with like a leather jacket and a white T-shirt, a hard worker.
He goes out of the game. So Phil Nelson and Spencer Hawes will patrol the middle for Lorenzo Romar.
I don't know if you've ever been hitting your Adam's apple, but you swallow a whole apple and you can't breathe.
Altidore Cespedes hangs, left it short. Hawes with the rebound. Here's Detman, number 5. Detman drives the middle, tried to get it to Hawes. Rivio on the floor with the ball. It's loose. Detman grabs it right in front of his coach. Here's the lob to Hawes. Great catch. And he's fouled by Sean Mallon. So Spencer Hawes will go to the free throw line.
The ball was like a greased pig for the Zags. They couldn't put their hands on it and keep it. Slipping away from them a couple of times. And I tell you, these Huskies, they go after all the loose balls. They got guys diving on the floor getting strawberries themselves.
Spencer Hawes, a 63% free throw shooter, hits the first one. His father, Jeff Hawes, played at Washington between 72 and 74. His uncle, Steve Hawes, is in the Husky Hall of Fame and also played 10 years in the NBA. He was a great player.
Yeah, he was in that line along with guys like Billy Pultz and Tom McMillan and Steve Hawes, all those guys. And, you know, they didn't have a lot of 7-footers at that time, and he was one, and it gave him a 10-year career.
Well, UW still very much in this game with 12:42 to play, but they're going to have to start getting some stops. Cuso battling inside for the offensive rebound. Missed it, and Hawes cleared it. Pondexter puts it on the floor, and he's fouled by Altidore Cespedes. It looked like Quincy was about to lose the handle on that possession.
Yeah, Pondexter not really having the ball under control, but we're seeing Sean Mallon going out limping or favoring that left ankle. I think Cuso and him actually got kind of tangled up on that offensive rebounding possession. And Sean came down on the ankle, maybe have rolled it.
And we've got a timeout on the floor. Altidore Cespedes picked up his second personal. That's 4 on Gonzaga, and it's a 14-point game. And there you see the preseason Pac-10 rankings. Washington picked to finish 3rd behind UCLA and Arizona. UCLA with a nip and tuck win today. They'll remain the #1 team in the nation. Arizona always good. And then UW. And Lorenzo Romar told us earlier today that he thinks his team will be a lot better come January, February, March because they're so young. Look at down at the bottom there, number 10, Washington State. This is a Cougar team that just beat Gonzaga and also beat the Huskies twice last year. And they're at the bottom of that list.
And that might be a good thing. Fly under the radar a little bit and come up and bite people as you go along. And, of course, Tony Bennett's got those guys playing with great confidence.
Nice play there by Pondexter. Bolden wide open inside. And another lay-in for Gonzaga.
Every time you run offense and you got screens on the offsides and you got guys working and moving without the basketball, you're going to get some open looks, and Gonzaga just did it on that possession.
Plenty of time on the shot clock, down to 17. Go ahead, Greg.
Oh, the good thing about the flex, what you see that Gonzaga run all the time, is that it's a continuation play. You don't see guys break down and take one-on-one because it always has the involvement of everybody in it.
And Washington has just cut it to an 11-point game with that 3 ball by Phil Nelson. Nelson now with 6 points. He's made 2 shots from behind 19.9. Ball knocked away. Pendergraft picks it up. Needs some help. He'll use the dribble. Bounce pass Raivio. Little runner in the lane off the glass. I don't know if I've ever seen a player spend more time in the air and have it work out all right than Derek Raivio. Pause. Deflected. Picked up by Bolden. Bolden trying to get around Pondexter. And he just picked up his 3rd personal foul. That's 7 now against UW. So Gonzaga will be in the bonus when we come back. Derek Raivio, 19 points. Oh, the beautiful little runner off the glass. And welcome back. It was a 13-point game at the half, but Lorenzo Romar's team trails at the 10:46 mark by 13. They're trading baskets, Greg.
Exactly right. Pondexter comes out and gets a basket for the Dogs early in the second half. Shows a little bit of post-offensive moves. But you're exactly right. If you look at the score, 73-60, the Dogs have not come up with any defensive stops, and they're just trading baskets with GU, and they don't have that luxury. They got to come up with some defensive stops and then score on the other end.
And Bolden shooting it well from the free throw line and the floor. Coming in, he was 3 of 23 for Gonzaga over the last 4 games. He's 7 of 9 tonight from the floor, and he has 16 points.
Isn't it amazing how coaches think? Mark Few thinking, well, I can go small because the Huskies are small, puts Matt Bolden in, and knows that a starting position might bring this young man out of a shooting slump.
And to start a freshman in this game, his first start now. This isn't a freshman who's been playing or starting for 10 games. It's his first career start at Gonzaga, and we have a foul called on Nelson.
But just in the few games that we've seen him play, very polished, very mature out on the floor. You can tell he knows how to play the game, and that's the confidence that the coaching staff has in him, and they know they can instill him in the lineup at any time.
Gonzaga already in the bonus with over 10 minutes to play. Pendergraft gets the hometown roll, and it's a 16-point game. It's been a double-digit game since Gonzaga took a 28-18 lead with 11:37 left in the first half.
And if you go back to that game against Butler, where Butler didn't get a field goal against the Zags in the last 8 minutes, made all their free throws. Gonzaga has that same opportunity with Washington putting them in bonus already.
That was a great rebound by Brockman. Nelson missed 2 shots. Bell with a rebound.
That was the 10th rebound for Brockman.
Double-double. In and out. 11th rebound by John Brockman. Lunch pail kind of guy. Appleby threw it off the glass. Pause with a nice rebound for UW. 14-point game.
Yeah, a lot of times a young player will go in like Appleby did and not shoot the ball and try to make some spectacular pass, but when you got big guys that are good rebounders like Hawes and Brockman, try to get the ball up on the board.
Here's Heitfeld. May have moved his feet, no call. Ball loose, and the foul call. Is it on Oliver or Heitfeld? No, it's on Oliver. Both players battling inside, and Adrian Oliver, who picked up his 4th personal foul.
Wow, what a job by the Zags, getting themselves in position for
offensive rebounds. Coaches will tell you, too, that, you know, rebounding is basically played from the heart. You got to really go after them, and there's a lot of things you can do to help yourself get rebounds, block out, put bodies on them, but offensively, you go after it. It's just the way you're built. If you want to have that instinct to go after rebounds.
Spencer Hawes with his 6th rebound there. There's Brockman. And the foul on Heitfeld. That's his 2nd. That's the 5th against Gonzaga. And I'm sure that's one concern that Mark Few had coming into this game was Washington trying to pin fouls early on Heitfeld and get him out of his game. But Josh has done a great job in this game and not picking up cheap fouls. He's only got 2. Here's Hawes, jump shot. Bank off the glass.
That time Josh gave him a little bit too much room. Josh has got to get out there and get a hand closer to him. But what a nice job by Hawes to read the defense and then take a bank shot.
And Spencer Hawes now is up to 18 points, 7 of 14 from the floor after getting off to a rough start in the first half. His percentage is back to 50. Here's the lob. Heitfeld, nice catch, 3 defenders, and Heitfeld will go to the free throw line.
Yeah, and I think you forgot to mention that Spencer Hawes is a freshman to go along with a couple other starters out there. Quincy Pondexter, freshman.
I asked Lorenzo Romar today, how good is Hawes? I mean, is this a kid who we're going to be looking at as one of the college players of the year as we look at his father in attendance here in Spokane? Is this a guy who has the potential to be the college player of the year down the road? And he says, I don't know if he'll be here long enough. that was his answer to me. And I said, have you talked to him about that? He said, yeah, we've had conversations about him, you know, whether he'll be here for 4 years. He doesn't think he will be. In your mind, there's no doubt, right?
I think if the rule didn't change, he probably would have entered himself in the draft coming out of high school, but the rule says he can't do it, so he's got to play a year before he can do that. And Spencer Hawes, though, is a sponge, is what Lorenzo called him, because he absorbs everything that's told to him.
Pargo with the steal, Rivio with the finish. Rivio's at 21. Appleby with it in the corner. Hawes going to work on Heitfeld. Jump hook good. He is impressive at 7 feet tall and 250 pounds. He's got 20.
And that was the first time Josh actually was out of position trying to guard Hawes.
Left hand spin. Oh, Pargo can be impressive in there. Timeout on the floor. Gonzaga leading it by 13. Pargo with the steal. Rivio with the lay-in. He's got 21. And then watch Spencer Hawes going to work at the other end. Great game in Spokane. Well, Gonzaga clinging to a 13-point lead. It was 13 at the half. We're at 13 still at the 7:43 mark. The 2002 Seattle Rotary Club AAU team. In this photograph are Josh Heitfeld and Washington's Brandon Burmeister, coached by Adam Sedlick, just before they played LeBron James and the Oakland Soldiers in Clear Lake, Texas. Also on that team, Marvin Williams of the Atlanta Hawks and University of Oregon's Aaron Brooks. I'd say they won some games.
Did they lose that one? I didn't see the score. That by 1, I think.
Because LeBron James was on the other team.
Well, yeah, what a great opportunity for your AAU team to.
Golden for 3. That's Matt's first attempt from behind the arc. And his first make. He's got 19. That's a career high. Before that shot, Gonzaga shooting 32% here in the second half. UW at 45%. So Washington doing a better job defensively, cooling Gonzaga down, but it's still a 14-point game.
Yeah, the Bulldogs were hot in the first half, 55% on all field goals. You knew that was going to come down at some point. But credit the Huskies defense for taking a few of those shots away from them. A lot of layups in the first half by the Bulldogs helped that percentage be high.
7:05 to play. 16-point Gonzaga lead. Ball tipped away. It'll stay with Washington.
And the ball staying on one side of the floor favors defense possession. If you don't move the ball and swing the ball and make the defense move from side to side, very easy to guard a team that stays on one side of the floor.
Brockman on Mallon. Shot may have been tipped. Pargo tipped away from behind by Pondexter. Brockman with it to Appleby, far side. And Ryan will try to make some points here.
There was an opportunity for Jeremy to veer off out of the middle because everybody was running down the middle coming up from behind him, and that's the best way to knock the ball away. Jeremy should have pulled out or stopped it right after he got past half court.
Count the basket, a chance for three for Justin Dentman, the sophomore out of Carbondale, Illinois. Pargo with a personal foul. But Dentman, his mother, got to see Justin play for the first time in his career last year in the game against Gonzaga in Seattle. Friends and relatives got some money together, flew her out there for the Gonzaga game, and they got to see Washington beat GU for the first time in 8 tries.
There's nothing better when family gets to do that. And I tell you, most mothers in everybody's lives are probably your biggest fan and biggest protector. The opportunity to see a game like that against GU had to thrill her to death.
And there's Brandon Burmeister's father from Mercer Island, also in attendance here in this game. And we should point out at this point in time that Brandon Burmeister and Hans Gasser, the only seniors for Lorenzo Romar. If this UW team gets to the NCAA tournament this year, which I think it's the probability is very high, they will be the only players in the history of this program to play in 4 consecutive NCAA tournaments. It's never happened before at the University of Washington. They have a chance to make history this year.
Yeah, they've had teams, I know during my era when Detlef Schrempf and those guys were there, Dick, Todd, McCullough and all them came through there. Christian Velp, I believe, had runs of like 4 years or 3 or 4 years. 3 years.
The longest was 84 through 86. They went 3 times. Yeah. And of course 3 times right now.
And then that program kind of slumped off again, and then it picked up again. So what an accomplishment that would be for the Huskies if Gasser and Burmeister would be able to do that.
Back to a 13-point game with a 3-point play by Justin Dentman. Some pressure. Zags break it easily. Bolden into the corner. Rivio faked the 3, take the jumper, 16, no good. Appleby grabs the ball out of the air. Here's Dentman, who had a big stretch run in last year's game. Kuso with the block, and we have a turnover. Stepped on the baseline, so it'll stay with Washington with 6:07 to play. Actually, Altidore Cespedes, I believe, his foot was on the line when he picked up this loose ball. His right foot may have been on that end line. And again, this time it's Pondexter who dribbled the ball off the end line.
And when you block shots, if you can keep the ball in play, especially to your own team, then I think the block shot is worth it. But if you just block it to swat it into the front row and try to get a fan reaction, it's not helping your team other than it might lift your spirits up a little bit for a little while. But if you can block it, get the ball, and score on the other end, that's much better than sending it into the front row.
Altidore Cespedes, Mallon out on top. Bolden already at a career high, off the glass again. Another layup for Matt Bolden. He's got 21. He's tied with Rivio for the game's lead. Oliver, jumper, good. Adrian Oliver, the freshman out of Modesto, California, answers for UW.
And good penetration by Ryan Appleby, getting himself into the paint, and usually draws the defense, and then he kicked it right out to a shooter, Oliver, who knocked it down on the baseline.
5:07 to play. Washington needs stops. Altidore Cespedes. That's as pretty of a jumper as you'll ever see, and Gonzaga can't get him to shoot enough. But here's the steal and the flush by Altidore Cespedes. Boy, that's some quick offense. 5 points in seconds. Timeout, Lorenzo Romar. loud in here, Craig Elo.
Can you just feel that? And what a display by P-Mac to shoot the ball. You said it. It was a beautiful three-point shot. Great rotation, body square, looking at the rim, and then deflects it on the other end and goes hard to the basket. Detman had a beat on him and was going to try to block that shot. P-Mac rises to the occasion and flushes it home with two hands.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I just said minute eruption here.
It does.
It's unbelievable.
It does. Gonzaga's on a 7-2 run, and they've opened it up to an 18-point lead. Eltidor Cespedes with 9 points. This is the first time this season that he has not started for Gonzaga. He came in off the bench, and he is responding for his head coach. 9 points.
Yeah, he had a little rough go at WSU, picked up some early fouls and was never in that ball game. But he accepted his role tonight to come off the bench.
Gonzaga with 21 points off the bench, 9 from Pierre-Marie. It's going to stay with Washington here.
Now remember, these games are always high scoring. Last year, 99-95 in favor of Washington, and already the Bulldogs with 4 minutes left have 89 points. And remember, they're winning games by 15 points.
There's Bettman, another shot block. This time by Kuso, and the foul called. I believe they'll give it to Brockman. 4:23 to play, and the best free throw shooter in the Gonzaga's history will go to the line.
Will he miss? No. Will he hit the rim is what people should bet on. The kid just will be a total confidence shooter at the free throw line. Has a great rhythm, great routine. Don't want to foul Derek Ravio shooting free throws.
Ravio with 27 consecutive free throws. Make it 28. He is tied with Jeff Goss for the record at Gonzaga with 41 straight. So he's now at 28. And this is the 8th consecutive game in which the senior for Gonzaga has scored over 20 points. I'd say it's quite a campaign here in the first 11 games.
And if he continues to play this caliber of basketball, I think the streak that Gonzaga's had, having players of the years in the West Coast Conference, will probably stay intact if Derek continues to play at the level he's playing at.
Brockman inside, jumper, no good long. Kuso had it, Ravio had it, ball loose, Kuso on the floor, trying to call time. Possession arrow will go to UW.
You gotta love basketball when you see guys diving on the floor. Both teams are going after all loose balls with vengeance on their mind. They want to secure that basketball, and I love it when you see this type of two teams play this hard all the time, going after all loose balls.
And this is probably a good time to point out that this may be the last time that Gonzaga and Washington play. I know they're not going to renew the contract for next season, and it's kind of a wait and see for Lorenzo Romar and the Huskies to see if Gonzaga will be back on the schedule in 2 years. But this is the best rivalry in the Northwest now. And a fortunate play by the Zags. Kuso lays it in. It would be a shame, though, not to have these programs play every season, Craig. These are the elite programs in the West now.
Yeah, and I know GU has tried all avenues to continue the scheduling of Washington, and Washington has decided not to do that in the near future. And it has nothing. Everybody has their own means of doing it. Washington wants to get out of it and try to schedule other things. And it's a shame because these games that they have played in the last 10 years just have been barn burners.
And Gonzaga's 22-point lead, the largest of the game. Here's it. Nelson with an opportunity and the jam.
And you'll remember this. The slam dunk by 5'9" Nate Robinson in this building, what, 3 years ago?
2 years ago, yeah.
2 years ago was going to be on all highlights for the rest of our lives. We'll see that thing left and right because that was an awesome throwdown.
I'll never, ever forget that. That was one of the most unbelievable things I've ever seen. We're going to see it here in a minute. And Nate Robinson.
And that goes.
What an electrifying player he is.
And still is doing it for the Knicks, but I mean, if that goes right along with Adam Morrison's 43 points in Heck Ed last year.
Mallon for three. Battle for the rebound. Cuso again on the floor. Hawes picked it up, threw it to an open space, and Mallon ran it down. 20-point game. Gonzaga on an 11-2 run and leading it by 20.
You see what I mean, Greg? That kind of hustle and that kind of play gets appreciated by the fans and the coaching staff.
Well, Craig, we said coming out of half that both these coaches were going to have an opportunity over these 20 minutes to learn a lot about their basketball teams. Mark Few learned that we're still tough to beat at home. Lorenzo Romar learns that we've got a young team. We're very talented. We've got a long way to go.
I agree. I concur. I tell you, though, the best thing that Mark Few can say about his team is that he wanted them to be resilient. Coming off that loss down at WSU, they had to come out and be resilient, and they showed their true colors tonight.
And remember, Gonzaga has not lost 2 games in a row since the 02-03 season. It was actually in November of 02 when they lost to Indiana and then Kentucky in the Maui Classic. That's going back a long ways now. And those are 2 programs where if you lose against, you're like, oh, you just tip your cap and you go home.
Yeah, and you got to play them back-to-back. Obviously, that's a tournament situation, you know, that you do. You just kind of roll with that. But, my gosh, teams love, our coaches would love to have a team that did not lose 2 games in a row.
There's Rivio driving through the middle. Rivio again drives off the glass. 25 points.
I didn't know he had that little runner in his repertoire, but we've seen it twice so far.
And Oliver with a nice reverse. One of the freshmen for Lorenzo Romar. 4 freshmen with significant minutes for the University of Washington here tonight. And Gonzaga just taking time off the clock now. 1:15 to play and 15 on the shot clock. The lead is at 20. Bolden.
Oh!
Wide open to Pendergraft.
Pendergraft watches his defensive man, watching Matt Bolden, cuts to the basket, and Bolden has a wraparound pass to him. Oh, Pendergraft could have flushed that. You think this crowd would have gone even more crazier?
Tentman with the lay-in to answer for Washington. We're under 1:45 to play now. And everyone on their feet inside the McCarthy Athletic Center. And it appears that number 18, Gonzaga, will defeat number 13, Washington, for the 8th time in the last 9 years. Rivio throws it up. Pendergraft and Wallace battle for the rebound. Actually, that was Oliver. Timeout on the floor. 19 seconds to play. We'll be right back live from Spokane. Promised it to you. Nobody embodied what new brand of Husky basketball is all about. The Nate Robinson, 5'9", 2-guard, brought plenty of excitement wherever he went. Still does. He won the slam dunk contest in the NBA, playing for the New York Knicks.
And that last dunk, you saw who he jumped over? Spud Webb.
That's right.
The first 5'9" guy to win the dunk contest.
And that's going to do it. Lorenzo Romar and Mark Few meet at half court. They exchange pleasantries. This is one of the best rivalries in college basketball today. I don't care what part of the country, and it is a darn shame that it's not going to continue next season.
It is. I have to agree with you on that, but I got to think that both sides, the negotiators, whoever they are going to find some way to get this rivalry to stay on both teams' schedule.
There's Romar talking to Matt Bolden, who scored a career-high 21 points tonight. The Huskies had 4 players in double figures: Oliver, Hawes, Pondexter, and Brockman. And Mark Few has just run the home consecutive winning streak to 45. It's the longest in the nation. Josh Heitfeld with 14 points and 7 rebounds for Gonzaga. And now Gonzaga will turn their attention to teams like Georgia and Duke and Nevada. We're going to take a little time out, but don't you go anywhere. We've got more from the Mack Center when we come back. And welcome back to the McCarthy Athletic Center in Spokane, Washington, where Gonzaga just defeated the University of Washington by 20 points, 97-77. Gonzaga ended up shooting over 50% for the game. Washington at 43.7. You can break those numbers down and look at the difference in the game.
Yeah, and they were tough shots. Gonzaga's defense was so on tonight. Everything was contested on the perimeter, even some block shots out there. But the ball did go inside to the two big men, Hawes or Brockman. Collapsing defense causes tough shots, and their goal, that is GU's goal, every game is to hold an opponent under 40% field goal shooting. They came darn close tonight with a team that can really put the ball in the hole.
And from the Huskies' perspective, we saw the great players have nice games. Spencer Hawes with 20 points. Oliver, a freshman, with 11. Of course, Hawes is a freshman as well. Pondexter with 13. Brockman with 13. This is a team, as they get better, as Lorenzo Romar told us earlier today, as we get better, we're going to be a tough team to reckon with.
I totally agree. They do what he says on the floor. They are an extension out there of what he wants to happen. And I tell you, the talent level is as good as anybody. And he's got even a good recruiting class coming in next year. Always had great athletes that can perform what he wants done, but couldn't match that tonight. That was big time by Josh Heitfeld. And it all started with that one dunk at the beginning of the game that kind of set the tone.
So for Craig Elo and the rest of Gonzaga basketball, I'm Greg Heister saying goodbye from the McCarthy Athletic Center. The final score, 97-77. For those of you watching on FSN, FSN Live starts now.
Now to the game that most of you have just watched. Number 13 Washington taking on number 18 Gonzaga, playing for bragging rights in the state of Washington. Dogs on the road for the first time this year, and the Zags, well, they came out firing. Josh Heitfeld starting the game with a two-handed throwdown. That gets a pumped-up crowd going. Huskies trying to get something going as well. Sean Mallon strips the ball away, and check out Derek Rivio, coast to coast. Hoop and one. Largest lead of the night for them was at 21 with seconds to go in the half. Ryan Appleby stuffed twice, but Spencer Hawes gets it to go. Cuts the lead to 13 going into the half. Second half, John Brockman finding Hawes in the lane. That cut the lead to only 11, but the Zags will prove to be too much. Pierre Altidore Cespedes, the steal and the throwdown. Zags go up big, and they put it away. 97-77, the final. Derek Rivio led everyone with 25 points, 6 rebounds. Matt Bolden, a career-high 21 for him. Spencer Hawes, 20 points, 7 rebounds. John Brockman, the double-double, 13 points, 11 rebounds on the night. This is the Huskies' first loss of the season.
Thank you, Kara. And as we anticipate our NFL Sunday, we also look back on a great college basketball game tonight in Spokane. The Zags pulling off a 20-point victory over the Huskies after swarming Washington early in this one. Greg Heister was on the call courtside for us here on FSN, and he files this post-game report.
Well, Gonzaga defeats the University of Washington by 20. We have Derek Rivio and Mr. Matt Bolden with us. And Derek, let's start with you. 8th consecutive game now. You scored over 20 points, and you did it against the Huskies. You've had great games in your career against this program. What is it about Washington?
I mean, whenever you play these guys, you know it's going to be up and down. And those are the kind of games I think I thrive in. And once free-flowing like that, I play my best games. And these styles really go good with each other, so it's fun out there.
You told me before the start of the season that you want to make sure that your name is on the list of great players here at Gonzaga. Your senior year is off to one of the best starts in the history of this program. I don't know if you realize that.
You know, I don't really think about it too much. I'm just having a lot of fun with these guys this year, and I'm just keep chipping away. And I mean, I'm just having a good year, and I'm not thinking about it too much, just playing ball.
Okay, you guys go on the road now. This is the last time you're at home until the 6th of January. Big games in front of you. What do you think?
I mean, like I always say, I mean, you come here to play those games, and we're coming in with a lot of confidence, and we're ready to win those last two before Christmas, so it should be good.
Okay, Derek Ravio. Matt Bolden, come on in over here. Freshman out of Denver. Thanks, buddy. Well, Matt, so tell us, career high for you, and you did it against Washington. You got your first career start. Great game for you.
Thank you. It was really exciting. I know they've been talking to me about just playing with my instincts, and I just tried to come out and do that.
Talk about playing the Huskies, though, and talk about the energy that was in this building today, and talk about the college basketball experience, because I'm not sure it got any better than what we saw here tonight.
Yeah, the guys told me this is a huge rivalry. I've never experienced it, but coming in here today, it was out of control. It was amazing.
And here you are, just a young guy. You're 18 years old. You'll turn 19, I believe, in January. You have your career high at 21 points, and you do it against the Huskies, Matt.
Yep.
I mean, you got to be crazy inside.
It was a different experience. I mean, rivals. I didn't know there are rivals like that, and it was just coming out, just trying to play my game, and I felt like I did tonight.
This is Matt Bolden, a freshman for Gonzaga, career high 21 points. We also talked to Derek Ravio. What a senior campaign he's having for Gonzaga. Let's go back to the studio.
Well, we hope you enjoyed the intensity of the Washington-Gonzaga game tonight. It will be the last one for at least a couple of years. The series is going on hiatus due to scheduling conflicts, something the fans and players aren't exactly happy about. It might be the thing that Bob Bender is best remembered for at UW. In 1998, he and Gonzaga head coach Dan Munson decided to renew the in-state rivalry between the two up-and-coming basketball programs. It has become a game loved by fans from both sides of the state, but tonight the rivalry ends, for now.
It's definitely not going to happen next year, and then after that we'll revisit it and see. And if we were an independent, like Notre Dame and DePaul used to be in Marquette, we're independent, we'd probably do it. But we play in one of the toughest conferences in the country here. And with scheduling philosophy, we've always talked about how in your non-conference, you need to get a lot of things done, okay? And it's good to try to stay at home and play a fair share of games, I think, if you can afford to do that. And this is one more game where you end up going on the road every other year.
Coach Romar admitted his team gets excited and pumped up to play big games, something a matchup with Gonzaga certainly is.
It's a great in-state rivalry. It's two teams that always are usually really good, are pretty high ranked, in the top 25. And so for it to be gone, it's kind of too bad. I'd love to be able to play in that game every year I'm here.
I think we've really established something here with both the programs. I mean, as successful as they have been, and a great rivalry up here in the Northwest. And, hopefully it'll continue, but, it's out of our control.
Both sides want to stress that this series is not dead, just dormant. UW Athletic Director Todd Turner wants his program to play games on the national stage and against in-state rival Gonzaga in the future, something his head coach agrees with.
I think it's great for the fans. I think it's great for the state. I think it's great for basketball here. I think eventually we'll end up doing both, where we'll play a national schedule as well as playing against Gonzaga. It didn't work out for now.
Our Talelo smart play comes from tonight's matchup in Spokane, where Gonzaga head coach Mark Few was smart to keep the ball in the hands of his guards. Senior Derek Ravio and freshman Matt Bolden were the high scorers of the evening. Ravio finished with 25, and Bolden a career high 21.